Hello, my name is Yoletta Duran, and here is my technology book review. The book that I read and will review is named Hello Ruby Adventures in Coding by Linda Lucas. Linda Lucas is a programmer, storyteller, illustrator from Helsinki, Finland. She is a central figure in the world of programming and is the founder of Rails Girls, a global phenomenon teaching the basics of programming to young women everywhere. The workshops, organized by volunteers in over 250 cities, have taught more than 10,000 women in the foundations of programming in just a few years. Linda Lucas previously worked at Code Academy, a programming education company in New York City that boosts millions of users worldwide. But she left to focus on her children's book, which she believes is one of the best platforms to introduce kids to programming. This leads us into the theme of the book. Lucas strongly believes that code is the 21st century literacy. The need for people to speak the ABCs of programming is imminent. She sees our world as being increasingly run by software and sees a lack of diversity in those creating it. So Lucas introduces programming to children in the form of compelling storytelling. Lucas shares that she never really grew out of fairy tales herself and views the web as a maze of stories and wants to hear more diverse voices in that world. The title in itself gives young readers an insight into what the book will embody, and that is Adventures in Coding. The cover of the book is also very inviting to young children, or to young readers, and draws the attention to a subject that they may not be familiar with. My response. Before diving into this book, I, like other young naive readers, thought to myself, what is coding anyway? However, as soon as I opened the book, I realized that the word coding and computer programming was not going to be as overwhelming as I thought. Instead, Lucas takes her audience, particularly children, into a fun, whimsical journey where they learn about coding and computer programming. As an adult, I enjoyed reading this book myself because, like Lucas, I find fairy tales entertaining, and the way that Lucas is able to address a complex concept to children while also having fun is phenomenal. Lucas first makes readers feel as if they are joining Ruby on an adventure to find the gems that her father assigns for her to discover. Yet Ruby finds herself having to solve many problems along the way. From pattern recognition to sequencing, algorithms, and loops, Lucas gives young readers fun yet very informative exercises on specific computer coding terms. These exercises could easily help children understand the concept being interpreted. Overall, Hello Ruby Adventures of Coding was an intriguing yet educational novel to read. Lucas does a phenomenal job of incorporating complex terms into a children's book. I would definitely recommend this book to anyone, both adults and children, who would like to become more familiar with computer programming. Lucas's purpose. In Hello Ruby Adventures in Coding, Lucas combines both a picture and activity book in one and manages to introduce computer programming without requiring any computer at all. The real meaning of this book is not to teach you a programming language, but programming concepts. Lucas shows children how to use computational thinking, like how to break up big problems into small ones, create step-by-step plans, look for patterns, and think outside the box through storytelling. These basic concepts at the core of coding and programming will be reinforced through fun, playful exercises and activities that encourage exploration and creativity. Analysis. The book begins by introducing the main character of the story, Ruby, and how she is a small girl with a huge imagination. In Ruby's world, she is the chief creator and architect. Ruby can build things with her imagination, and anything is possible if she puts her mind to it. When Ruby is left home alone, while her dad leaves to work, she finds herself frustrated with nothing to do, until she discovers a note that her dad leaves behind, stating that he has hidden 5 gems and it is her job to find all using her creative imagination. However, Ruby feels like all she could do is ponder and cry. But Ruby is a very practical girl, and she knows that often big problems are just lots of little problems stuck together. As Ruby looks for clues, she finds 4 crumbled pieces of paper with random numbers, words, and statements. For example, address, robots, equals 1600 Amphitheater Parkway. Ruby uses these clues and creates a map from the little information she has. She begins her map with the penguins next to the riverbank, then the robots with their tiny house. Ruby writes, "Snow leopard on the mountain," and then figures out where the foxes live. Ruby faces many problems along the way, yet she is determined to find all 5 gems. First, she helps the penguins build a raft from the materials she finds to sell across the riverbank to reach the gem. Next, she builds a ladder with the same logs and rope she made the raft from to climb her way up to the second gem with the snow leopard. Third, she helps the foxes plant their carrot seeds more effectively and organize in the garden, and finds the third gem. Then she comes across the robots who are making a mess in the kitchen by trying to make cupcakes from scratch. Ruby suggests for them to make and implement a recipe instead. As she is helping make the cupcakes, she discovers a 4th gem. Lastly, she needs the final and 5th gem. Ruby meets Django, a boy with a huge snake wrapped around his shoulders, and spies the final gem in a chain that he is wearing. After Ruby constantly asks for the gem back, Django does not and will not give it back to her. So Ruby storms off without the last gem and has to accept that not all problems have solutions. Towards the end of the book, Lucas converts the storybook into an activity book, and she ties each activity with Ruby's adventures. For example, Lucas provides an activity about decomposition, since Ruby is really good at imagining and building stuff. Lucas shows how all things are built out of smaller things. Another activity that Lucas provides her readers is algorithms and sequence. Algorithms are step-by-step commands that computers follow in order to get something done. In Ruby's case, she creates a map and guided instructions to get where she needs to be. Lucas gives her audience a map and step-by-step commands as well that they must follow to get to the characters: penguins, foxes, robots, snow leopards, and Django. To conclude, Hello Ruby Adventures in Coding was a fun, entertaining story and activity book to read. Lucas makes computer programming look easy, and I think that is something that she was aiming for. All in all, this book is aimed for children, and if there are any strengths in this book, it is that it keeps children entertained while also learning a difficult concept. I do not have anything negative to say about this book, and I would gladly recommend this book to children who want to learn about coding and computer programming, or educators who want their students to learn about these concepts.